In the last episode, we attended the Four-Wheel Campers Owners Rally at the Nevada City Fairgrounds with the Granby flatbed camper we're living in this summer. If you're new around here, we're Dan and Marlene, traveling around the world with our 3 kids and 2 cats. We've been to 43 countries and 4 continents. This summer, we flew back to California from the Pan American Highway to attend a family function. Our friends at Four-Wheel Campers graciously loaned us this awesome rig so we can use it to attend Overland Expo Pacific Northwest, just outside of Bend, Oregon. This is where we're headed in this episode. Let's continue. The kids were content to stay back in LA with the grandparents while we were at the rally, so that meant we had to drive all the way back down to pick them up from the house before we can embark on our summer journey back in the States in our new rig. A few hundred miles and a day later, we're back on the road and once again headed north. The plan is to get to Bend, Oregon to attend Overland Expo Pacific Northwest. When we decided to come back for the summer, we reached out to our friends at Overland Expo about teaching some classes and participate on a few discussion panels. And since a bunch of our friends will also be there, it seemed like a perfect way to kick off our summer visit. This also means we needed to prepare, so the immediate goal is to find a quiet spot to spend the next couple of days in order to do that. So unfortunately, no time to meander around on scenic back roads, at least not yet. We headed straight north up Interstate 5. The weather has been brutally hot this summer, any place away from the coast. So we try to spend the hottest parts of the day on the road so we can sit in the air-conditioned truck while driving. Our hope is by the time we get to our destination each day, it will be cool enough to camp for the night. We try getting up close to 4,000 feet in elevation to find lower temps. But this time around, even in the shadow of the snow-capped Mount Shasta, the temps were still well into the 90s until an hour after sunset. Fortunately, we were able to find a great city park in the shadow of the majestic snow-capped mountain that allowed overnight parking. The cats can explore a bit on leash while everyone gets out to stretch their legs for a long day of driving. All right, we're now in Mount Shasta City. You can park here for 96 hours. No cost. There's a water fountain with a water spigot. There's trash. There are toilets, but they're locked. Really hot today. When we got here, it was like 90, low 90s. Finally, we're in the shade. The shade really helps. But we're on our way to Overland Expo Pacific Northwest. We're gonna have to figure out where we can stay for a couple of days before that in the area and finish up all of our presentations. You can see Mount Shasta right back there. Still a good amount of snow on there, but you can tell it's melting. It's melting fast. We did a lot of driving so far. Looking forward to slowing down for a little bit once we get into Oregon. Leaving Mount Shasta City, we made a right turn on Highway 97 to drive towards the Oregon border on our way to Bend. We've got some friends who will also be attending Expo, and the plan is to find a nice spot for the next couple of nights so we can work and relax. After some research around the area, we found ourselves deep off the grid at a well-shaded lakeside boondocking spot in the Deschutes National Forest. I know some of you are going to ask, what happened to this license plate? It was like this when we got the camper. There is a story though. It's all about the incident, but I'll save that for another time. We are here in just south of Bend. We're about maybe an hour south of Bend, Oregon right now. We are on our way up to Overland Expo Pacific Northwest, which is in Redmond, Oregon. That's a town just north of Bend. Pretty quiet spot. Today is the 4th of July. This lake right here is called Crane Prairie Reservoir. And pretty popular, pretty good sized lake. Apparently the average depth of this lake is only 15 feet. So pretty shallow lake. We've got 5 classes that we're giving at Overland Expo. The kids are actually doing one. Mostly 2 I'm doing by myself. I'm doing one about DIY solar and lithium battery. I'm doing one about Starlink. And then Marlene and I are kind of doing 2 together. One is about our family story. Then the last one is about overland travel routes in Europe. We are, pretty prepared, at least like mentally for them on the stuff we're gonna say. The kids are doing traveling the world from their perspective. They're a little bit stressed out about it. The 3 of them are going to be on stage talking. We're going to try to document all of this. The kids are like, I hope nobody comes to our class, just to have no unnecessary added pressure. We have limited solar and Starlink, and right now I'm just anticipating the sun coming over. So the solar panel is going to get some sun in the next hopefully half an hour or so. We've got a power station there with a Starlink router, and that's connected to our Starlink dish, which is down there. I can only point west. That's the clearest part of the sky, but it is connecting on a good day like 50 to 70% of the time. Since we left Guatemala, the cats haven't really been able to roam free at all. This spot is perfect for them to stretch out for a bit. As usual, they don't venture too far away from us and come back inside before dark. Besides four-wheel campers letting us borrow their rig for the summer, our friends at Dometic also graciously sent us some much-needed gear for our time here. Table, chairs, water jugs, water bottles, all the necessities for road life. We love it all, and especially being able to have this outdoor living space. This last year, we've been spoiled with the ability to get online via Starlink from practically anywhere, for work and school. Since we came back with no checked luggage on the plane, we obviously didn't have our Mexican Starlink dish with us. We did manage to find a lightly used, flat mount converted dish on Craigslist. That's right, we're Gen Xers who still have loyalty to Craigslist. Because it already has been modified to flat mount. The seller wasn't getting a lot of bites, so I swooped in there and got a great deal on it, which we were happy to have for the summer. Like everything else in the truck camper, we had to stock it with all the other necessities to get ready for road life. We borrowed as much as we could from family and friends that had extra gear, but it was still a real challenge to get it well equipped. While it isn't as dialed in as our van, we got it to be pretty comfortable living in this camper with the 5 of us and the cats.
No, it's okay. I know, it's so cool. had to leave it here anyways.
When we first chose to live as nomads back in 2008, we were young parents of a new baby girl in our early 30s. We met a lot of people during that time, and many have become some of our best friends. But unlike us, just about all of our friends from the road back then have replanted roots and settled back into sticks and bricks. We came back to the US after 4 years in Europe and hardly knew anyone. We can't just go door to door visiting all of our old road friends at their new homes. They're settled, have new jobs, routines, and this ragged family of 5 living in a van just doesn't quite fit into their lives the way we used to.
The top one is Sugar.
All right.
The top is Sugar.
He's gonna be bouncing soon.
So our only choice is to make new friends. Our last couple of nights here, we were joined by some of those new friends also attending Expo. Chris and Karina from Momentary Locals that we met at the NorCal Owners Rally, and KP from Zero Declination. We've never met KP before, but knew of each other several years ago in 2016 when we first set off on a 4-wheel camper trip into Mexico. He completed his Pan Am trip and has since resettled and opened up his shop, Zero Declination, working on and selling overland rigs out of Reno, Nevada. We can't help but to notice that these days, we're usually the oldest people in the group. Not by much, maybe 5 to 10 years at most, but certainly we're 2 lone Gen Xers in a sea of millennials. We have often referred to the folks we met on the road as being our people. There's a special kinship involved with the way we have chosen to live our lives this way, and I'm glad we found them once again. After 2 nights, we're ready to make our way towards Bend. It is here where we're once again reunited with a few more of our people.
I am nobody.
You're no name. You got Ava and Mila.
This is our 3rd Overland Expo we have ever attended. Our first was Expo West in 2022, immediately after we returned from our 4 years in Europe. Before that, we never really saw ourselves as overlanders. Honestly, we still don't. We had friends that attended these events during our Airstream days going back over 10 years. But I suppose we have changed, and so has the world of overlanding. Our experience last year attending West and then Mountain West was sort of mixed. We lived our time in Flagstaff, but couldn't wait for the hot and dusty Colorado event to be over. A lot has to do with where and who we are with. The fact that we were camping on a big grassy field here with good company is a good start to our time here in Bend. Once we got settled, and we venture into the expo grounds to do some exploring. We have settled into our site in the instructor/exhibitor area. We're camping with our friend Brett from Our Overland Life. We're camping with Chris and Karina from Momentary Locals, and also Reed, who used to work at Dometic, and now he's starting his own company. I'll show you guys some of his stuff later. Cool guy too. We got Go Fast campers right here. We got Rad Flow suspension right here. We got one of their Overland Expo recharge booth right here. Oasis bar and food court. This is probably where the happy hour is going to be at. This is where all the classes are going to be. So they're outside in tents. Orientation section is right here, and it doesn't look like we are completely late. So how's it going?
Good, how's it going?
Good. Oh, let's sit over here.
Back row's tight.
We're just trying to stay out of the sun.
Yeah.
Right? Orientation over. We got a couple of vouchers for some merch, so we are here to collect. What are our choices?
So the event t-shirt.
Hi. Nice to see you.
Everybody, say hi to Ernesto.
How's it going? Huh? Man,
Tyson
it's
here
like
too?
Bigger and bigger.
Just
no,
you?
No, she's like, I'm
You're
done
flying
with
solo?
events. Yeah.
Yeah, she's done with events. You're not doing BC
We're flying back to Europe next Sunday.
Oh.
Next
Nice.
Sunday, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is it.
This is it. Yeah.
This is it. I see the patches and the Polaroids made it.
Yeah. I feel like there's a bunch of stuff under our bed, which is easily limeade.
I feel like kids can almost drink this.
That's right, Luca. Just say no. Gonna jump out? No, they're pretty good.
Kind of jumped out earlier.
Maybe if Toby was around.
Oh, 100%. She'd be out the window.
Our classes and panels were a success as well. My lithium battery and Starlink classes were very well attended, and people asked some great questions. Thanks to everyone who attended them. Most importantly, the kids stood in front of about a dozen people and presented their experiences on the road from their perspective. They did great, and we're super proud of them for it.
Natural.
Yeah, you do have to kind of turn it a little bit, huh? Back at base, we're camped in the instructors and volunteers area with our friend Brett, Thomas, Chris, Karina, and Reed. At the end of each day, we gather for drinks and make dinner together.
If you want to make them on this, just take your flour.
Reed is someone who we've met briefly in the past, as he formerly worked for Dometic. Our first expo in Flagstaff last year had us displaying our van in the Dometic booth. He has since left and moved to Santa Cruz to start his own venture, Pacific Adventure Works. He designed and is manufacturing a flexible and adjustable sleeping platform that works in various SUVs, crossovers, or station wagon style vehicles. In fact, he is camping here in a Subaru with one of his early prototype units. There's even enough space under the bed platform to store a pizza oven, which he brought along with him. I don't know about you, but I've never had wood oven pizza while camping before, and now I can't stop thinking about it. Our friend Ernesto from Overland the Americas came to the event with his newly imported Mercedes Vario van to show it off to everyone.
Wow, Dan, make yourself comfortable. Don't do that.
I, like many people who knew about these vans, have always wanted one. He imported this one that formerly served as a military cargo van, and now will serve as gear hauler for his new online retail business, Evergreen Off-Road. Another person's experience at Overland Expo event can certainly be completely different than ours. People attend for all different reasons, And for us, it is the people who we are with that makes all the difference. As much as we love spending time with everyone, physically and mentally, we can only take so many of these events, as all of the socialization drains us in every way. I figured we'd find you here because there's free food.
Sneak up on me like
Sorry.
Hello. How you doing?
We probably won't be returning to another one anytime soon as we recover from being overstimulated. But it was exactly what we needed to kick off our summer back home. Our last night at Expo culminated with a meal together with many of our friends, old and new. Even my brother relocated his van to the final night and joined us for this big cookout. KP paid for all of the fixings for taco night, courtesy of Zero Declination's marketing budget. So if you ever need any work done related to your overland rig, or if you're interested in buying a new camper, make sure you hit him up the next time you're in the Reno area. That is a wrap on Overland Expo Pacific Northwest 2023. Today's Monday morning. We spent the night out in the field again last night. This is that's the spot where we camped all weekend. And then last night got a little crazy, so we moved over here where it's a little quieter. And a bunch of our friends who are in the exhibits, they came out, they camped over here. We had tacos. My brother and my mom came for the weekend, so that was very special. But right now, everything is clearing out. Everybody's leaving. Overland Expo PNW 2023 was really fun. I'm gonna help pack up, and then we'll be on our way. Are you ready for me to drop? You take the lever, pull back, and it starts to go down. No, it doesn't want to come down. There it goes. Oh yeah, our departure day from Overland Expo also happens to be my birthday. Thanks to all of those who shared a piece of cake with me. This is Monte Campground here in Central Oregon. We are still on the east side of the Cascades. I suppose we're kind of maybe on the foothills now. This is directly west of Madras, which is about an hour north of where we were yesterday in Bend. But now we're sort of free to roam wherever we want. This is kind of our only obligation going to Expo PNW 2023. We did 5 classes. The kids did one of them in 3 sessions, so it was a pretty busy weekend. The nice thing is we didn't have to be in a booth, which would have been a lot harder than actually just doing classes. Because with classes, you only have to be there when you're scheduled to teach a class or be on a round table. So all in all, it was just 8 hours of our time versus if we were doing, as compared to being in a booth like we were last year in Expo West in Flagstaff, where we were in the Dometic booth. We had to be there sort of most of the time so people can come and talk to us and show our stuff. We're glad we made it happen. So I think we're gonna maybe for the most part stick around in Oregon, maybe go up to Mount Hood area, maybe go up by the Columbia River Gorge. Kind of depends on what the fire situation looks like. This campground is in a one-way in, one-way out road. It dead ends right here at this campground. So if something happens on the road coming in here, then we gotta kind of be on the lookout for that. So we're gonna call it a day. Thank you guys as always for sticking around, watching these videos. We'll see you tomorrow. Everything survived the drive.